Hello and welcome to the Snickerdoodle Knits YouTube channel. I am Jessica, the knitter and designer behind Snickerdoodle Knits. In this video, I am going to be talking about my design, Going to the Mountains Poncho. So this is a brand new knitting pattern that I've just released with my Forever Home collection, a collection of DK weight patterns that were inspired by my home state in Montana. So the collection includes patterns about the wheat fields, the farmland, the snow, and then of course the mountains. And so this pattern is inspired by the mountains. We have the Rocky Mountain Range in Montana, and so that's the main motif throughout the center of the poncho. So these are small little mountain ranges that go around the full circumference of the poncho. And then surrounding that, we have some simple color work. So we have the snow and the trails, the muddy trails that you have to take to get up to the top of the mountain. So we have the 1x1 is the trails, and then this color work that's a little bit farther apart is the snow. And so then we have the snow here, the trails, and then some more snow. The yarn, I mentioned that the collection is completely DK weight patterns. So of course this one is also DK weight. The yarn that I used is from Big Sky Yarn Company. It is their Squish DK base, which is squishy just like it sounds like. It's so cozy. I love it. So comfortable. I like to say that the poncho is basically like a fitted blanket. It's just so cozy, warm. It's basically like wearing a blanket, but you don't have to worry about getting all wrapped up in the blanket, and you don't have to worry about when you stand up and stepping on the blanket or dragging it, because it's attached to you. You're just wearing it. I also like to say that it's basically the perfect combination between a shawl and a sweater. You have the warm arms like you do with a sweater, but it's still an accessory. You can take it off if you get warm, but you don't have to worry about stylizing it like a shawl. You don't have to worry about your ends coming out. You don't have to worry about it getting all messed up during the day while you're wearing it. So I really love the poncho. I think it's really practical, easy to wear. It's great for if you're outside, say you're sitting at a campfire in the evening, or it's also great for if you're inside at night. Maybe you're knitting away and you just need something to keep you a little warm. That's one of my favorite ways to use the poncho. I also just use it while I'm working, sitting at my desk on the computer, and I just wear my poncho because it's warm and cozy. So then I kind of touched on the techniques. We have some color work, we have this texture. These are slipped cross stitches. So if you're familiar with working in the round, if you feel comfortable with knitting and purling, working in the round, I think you definitely are able to give this pattern a try. You will learn probably two new techniques, and that's the color work and then the slip cross stitches. And with all of my patterns, I have linked tutorials within the pattern to help navigate you through new techniques. So I definitely have the tutorials on the slip cross stitches to walk you through that. And then I also have tutorials on like catching your floats for the color work. But if you don't have any exposure at all to color work, if you don't even know what the concept is, you might want to go ahead and look up just the basic idea of what color work is. It's knitting two colors simultaneously throughout the round, but you only knit one color at a time. So it ends up looking like this, where you're wrapping one yarn behind the other. So yeah, it's a fairly simple knit. It's engaging, of course, because you have different things going on where we change motifs a fair bit. And so I think that keeps it really interesting and engaging without making it real complex. It makes it a real fun knit and makes the knit go quickly. So then for sizes, This pattern is available in 4 different sizes. It's available sized for 34-inch bust, 44-inch bust, 52-inch bust, and 60-inch bust. So this is the 34-inch bust, and as you can see, it has some positive ease, of course. It's not fitted around here. So I have designed the poncho to include 5 inches of positive ease around the circumference. So if you are a 34-inch bust, go ahead and knit the 34-inch size, because that size already includes the 5 inches of positive ease in the size. If you are between sizes, say you're a 39-inch bust, you want to work the next size up. So you don't want to work the 34-inch bust, you want to work the 44-inch bust. The reason for that is because unless you really want a tight fitted poncho, you want to have some positive ease so that your arms have some room to move around and stuff like that. And so going up the next size will just give you a little bit more positive ease, a little more room to move around. The pattern includes written instructions and charted instructions. And the way that I lay out my patterns, so even like this pattern, it has both instructions in the same PDF, but they are separated. So we have the written instructions and then the charted instructions so that you can print out only what you need to use. And then on the first page of the pattern, the first few pages are just general information. The first page, at the bottom of the page, it always says charted instructions are from page X to Y, and written instructions are from A to B. So you have exactly what pages numbers you need when you're printing. And I think that's... Oh, okay, so for yarn, I mentioned this was Big Sky Yarn Company Squish DK. The colors that I used are Hayride and Pecan. That Pecan is the brown color, and Hayride it's like this creamy base with blues and greens, a little bit of browns and golds. It's a really pretty colorway. So that's what I used, but for all of my designs, I also have a blog post specifically for the design about color recommendations and yarn alternative recommendations. So if you're planning on knitting the poncho and you don't have your yarn already picked out, you can go to that blog post. The first half of it is the color suggestions, and so there I have selected 2 color recommendations from Big Sky Yarn Company. And my main recommendation if you're selecting your own yarn is just to be sure that you have a high contrast here, so that your color work shows up well. So in that blog post I have those color suggestions, but then the second half of the blog post is dedicated to alternative yarn recommendations. So if you're looking for a more affordable yarn, I have a list of a handful of yarns that I definitely think would work well for this poncho. And then of course you can just use those color suggestions that I put together. You can use those same color ideas, palettes, and just find those colors in the yarns that you're looking at that are more affordable. So I will link in the description of this video the pattern page on my website. On the pattern page has more information, specifically like about the yarn, about the materials you'll need, needle size, all of that. And so on that page in the yarn section, I have linked that blog that has the color and the yarn recommendation. So click the link in the description below, and that will take you to the page on my website with the pattern. Scroll down to the yarn section and click the link there. That will take you to the blog with the yarn and color recommendations. On that pattern page that I have linked in the comments, you will also find the links to purchase the pattern. So for right now, the pattern is available on Ravelry, LoveCrafts, and Payhip. And of course, if it's available on more sites in the future, those will be added to the pattern page. But those links to purchase are also included in that link that I have included down below. So I hope you found this video helpful, informative. I hope it answered your questions that you had about the poncho. If you have anything else that you're curious about, if you're wondering about, or you just want to talk about the poncho, go ahead and leave those in the comments down below. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe button, and I hope to see you around. I have more knitting content like this where I talk about my design patterns, and I also share the knitting video tutorials that I link in my patterns. So, hope to see you around. Happy knitting!